Welcome to Angelo's Tennis, and I'm talking about kids' tennis balls versus yellow balls. I want to get into some of the specifics here, specifically the orange ball. The orange ball is by far my favorite training tool, especially for adults, but for kids as well. But I want to talk more about adults as well in this video because I did a lot of playing with the orange ball, and I want to talk about a couple of things a couple of the benefits and the reasons why you got to use the orange ball. So first of all, the orange ball. We're talking about the orange ball. There's different orange tennis balls. There's different brands, and it's important to pick the right brand because the quality has to be there. The thing is with the orange ball, they don't last. They're not going to last very long. They're not going to have that pop that you need especially if you're like a high level player and you want to do this for fun. So I found that the quick start, it comes in a bucket. This is by far one of the best you can buy. It comes in a bucket of like 72, and you don't have to buy the bucket, but that's what I used to buy them in. And it says quick start on it. This is the best one, unless they've changed it. It stays pretty hard longer, and you kind of, if you think about it, see, they sell these and they market these as if they're kind of a little bit more expensive, and they market them as, oh, you can use them forever and you can use them for a long time for kids, and that's true. But if you really wanting to get the most out of them and the most enjoyment, it's just like a regular tennis ball. 3 balls, you play for an hour or two, and then they're done. They go into the used bucket, or they never to be used again. So that's probably the ideal way to use them. So you have to remember that as well. And if you buy, like, say, the Wilson one, it might be okay. I mean, I wouldn't. You have to kind of play around with the different balls. I would say you have to find the one that, like the Quick Start one, that's really good. There's a lot of them that are junk. They have to have that pop. And what I mean by that is I'm 5'7", so generally speaking, 5'7", even up to 6 foot, the ball can bounce. These balls can bounce relatively high. They can get up to shoulder height. They can go. I would say you're looking for between the knees and shoulders, and that's one of the benefits of the orange ball is that you can get during your rallies. You have to bend. You have to bend. It's not really just about bending the knees, but it's the different leg work that you have to use when you're playing in a rally with an orange ball. You could do this with green ball too. You could do this with a yellow ball. It depends on who you're playing. But if you really want to get the effect, especially if you're playing with someone who if you use this, you'll get more of the effect. It might be necessary, but that's what you're looking for when you're using the orange ball. I wish I had a video. I don't have a video of it. I will have one in the future, so stay tuned for that. But that's one of the main benefits, the leg work that the orange ball does. And you get a feel for, maybe from the baseline, being able to play one ball spin, one ball flat. That's another thing. You get a wide variety of heights as well. And you can come to the net a lot. You're already closer as well. If you're 60 feet, you're already closer to the net. You get that pool to come into the net more often, and you get over that fear of coming into the net. Here's the thing about these training balls. You have to play to the target. You have to play more. It's more like, if you think training, you think basics. Okay, I'm going to try to play to different targets. And I talk about the target, the map that I'm going to use. If you use that map, this will work really well. You're talking about playing topspin, playing backspin these targets, kind of like the training method, moving up to forming your technique. If you do this, you're going to get the most out of it. But here's what people tend to do. And this is why pickleball's probably popular. They hit really hard. They get this ball and their feeling is, wow, I can just really tee off on this ball, and then they go for it. And that's, if you do that, you're not going to get the same effect out of it. You have to look at it like that. I'm playing to the target, I'm playing patterns, and I'm playing spins. That's what you want to do. If you get that good feeling and you can't overcome it and you just blast the ball, it's not going to be the same. And you're going to think this is too easy. It's all the things that might come to mind. You have to do it in that specific way. And this reminds me of a story when I had a good group of like 10, I think they were 10 years old at the time, 10, 11 years old. And in this case, I might have used the green ball. And that's the thing with the green ball as well. Just want to make a quick side note. There's that quick start green ball, which is the best. And then they have these green dot balls, which is almost like another ball between the green and the yellow. And the true green ball for a 10-year-old is going to be that quick start ball. That's the best one. And again, all these different companies make different ones. That's the one you're going to get the best effect and see the best benefit out of. The green dot ball is almost for, you could say, they even have them labeled sometimes. That's really a 12-year-old ball. That's really for 11, 12-year-olds. And again, you use it for more than an hour, it loses its benefit. It's just like a regular tennis ball. So if you're using the green dot ball for more than an hour or two, it's going to become dead and flat, and it's not going to have the same effect. So back to my story, I had these high school kids, and I was like, oh, I thought it was a great idea. We're going to have these high school kids come out and play matches against these 10-year-olds. And if we use the green ball, it'll be neutralized. Well, I was wrong. I almost had to stop. The matches because these kids, as soon as they got on the court and they felt great, they got that feeling from the green ball, they were teeing off on everything. And the 10-year-olds surprisingly could hang, but barely. And that's why I almost had to stop it. But that's not what I was going for. And you couldn't tell these teenagers this because they wanted to win. They didn't want to lose to a 10-year-old. And that's what they were thinking. And you can't have that mindset either. You got to put aside your ego, because if you do this, in that scenario, if the teenagers would have played more spinny, more target pattern oriented, they may have lost to these 10-year-olds. They may have actually lost the match. So same thing with the serve. You can hit flat to a target, but you can't just bang it. And if you think this messes you up, well then turn the video off and don't do it, because it's not going to mess you up. You're missing the point. I just dropped a video on I don't know what it was called. It was an ITF presentation, and this guy was doing this with the yellow ball with feeding. What I'm trying to show you is what he's doing with feeding, with an expensive coach, trying to teach the coordinative abilities to these adults, these high-level adults, through deliberate practice. You don't need to do if you understand this, because it does it naturally when you use these balls. So I want to point that out as well. I'm not going to get into it. Everyone wants to see the exact science of it. You don't need to know the exact science of it, okay? This is how it works from a guy who's done it, who's a professional, an expert who's done it, okay? You don't want to get too lost in your science. So here's a red ball. This is a decent red ball. This is a Wilson. I like the Wilson red ball. I don't like the Wilson orange ball. But these you can use longer for effect. These don't have the same, they don't go dead as much as the orange and the green, so you can really use and it's the same thing with the red ball. Back to the pickleball thing. Here's the thing with pickleball. This is why they had to have pickleball, because you can drill the pickleball. And in a lot of cases, it has the same effect. You can drill the pickleball and really have it go through the court, but especially you think outdoors is a little bit different. Outdoors with some wind and some the conditions, but this is why pickleball is so popular. And they can't have an orange ball league, because they would just rip into these balls and hit winners left and right, because that's how people are. So you give them this pickleball that slows them down. You can almost hit as hard as you want, and the air, the way with the holes, it stops the ball in many cases, and doesn't really allow you to dominate like that. Even though a lot of these professional guys are doing that. So That's the thing with pickleball. Again, I say that pickleball, people with their ego, that's why. Let them have their ego, and then the ball takes care of it. And that's really another video. But then we have these targets here, these lines. This is how you make an orange ball. Just pull these out of the garage. This long one here, they got the short ones. You got to get the long ones because you can put 3 of these. You can put 3 of those and make a sideline out of that. You don't got to have 10 of them. 2 or 3 of them, there's your sideline. Again, the lines don't have to be perfect. This is another thing. Then the kids learn, and the adults, everyone who's playing, learns. It's okay if it's close, you play it. This is training. You don't worry about a stupid inch out. And 3, 6, 9 lines will do it. You make yourself a 60-foot court. And there's good reason why it has to be 60 foot, and there's good reason why you have to do the sidelines as well. Even though you can go without the sidelines, you can do lots of different stuff. But there's very good reason why you have to have the sidelines as well because of back to the footwork and the movement. And if anyone's watching this for kids training, this isn't bad for adults either. Often you see this show up, this one cone. I learned this from Mike Burrell. If you don't know who Mike Burrell is, I would check out his videos. Might be posting some of his videos soon if I can. But you often see this one cone or one. You can make a bunch. You can put a bunch of these. I can't really do it out here out the screen. Maybe I'll put a video up. You can put a bunch of these like this and flip them over. And when the ball hits, they explode. So this isn't, when we're talking about specific targets for kids, this isn't a good target. Maybe for some kids, but many kids, you got to have a bunch of these and just let them explode everywhere. So that's a little bit how it works.